Before I begin this review, I want to answer a question that might be on your minds right now. Didn't I already review the first Pokemon movie? Yes, I did. However, that was its dubbed version. As I later found out, thanks to comments in various websites, the Japanese version of this film is apparently superior to the dubbed version we got in the States. So after I heard that, and since this month is the release of the 20th Pokemon movie in Japan, I figured it was a good opportunity to go back to where it all began for this movie series and review the Japanese version of the first Pokemon film, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Also, a quick little note here, I'll be using the dub names when referring to the characters of this film because it's a little easier on me, and because I would likely butcher the pronunciations of these names if I was going by their Japanese names. So yeah, let's begin. Now, for the most part, the story of this film is similar to the one we got in the dub. Mewtwo was created from Mew, he wants to fight against humanity, he brings Ash's group and other trainers to his island under the pretense they are fighting the most powerful Pokemon trainer ever, and it becomes a battle of the original versus the clones before Mewtwo realizes the error of his ways and mind wipes everyone before him and his clones leave for finer pastures. Oh, and because I didn't mention this in the dub, I might as well mention it here. In the Japanese version and later releases of the dub, there's an extended scene that showcases Mewtwo interacting with other clones created, including Dr. Fuji's clone daughter. So why didn't I mention that before? Because it means so little to the actual goddamn story that I didn't see a need to bring it up. Legit, after this scene ends, Mewtwo pretty much forgets about all of that, and it's never mentioned again in the film. Yeah, I know that scene was basically meant to be an adaptation of a radio play that was released weeks prior to the theatrical release in Japan, but if you're effectively going to ignore it for the rest of the film, it just makes me wonder the point of adapting it in the first place. Anyways, despite most of the plot being pretty much the same in both versions, there are some noticeable differences in this version that I do wish to point out. For one, Mewtwo's motive for going after humans is somewhat different. Instead of targeting humans and Pokemon because he believes he's the strongest, he's going after humans because he doesn't know where he belongs and questions his existence that was created by man. Actually, that's another major difference. Mewtwo isn't a cocky villain in this version. He knows about his power, but is constantly questioning his existence and where he belongs since he was a man-made creation and doesn't believe he is either a human or Pokemon. In other words, he's just trying to find his purpose on this planet. Hell, unlike the dubbed version where that Mewtwo thinks he's the only one who can fill the role of ruling the world, the original version has Mewtwo basically believing that no species/human alone is fit to rule the world. Damn, that's a big change. On top of that, their plans are also vastly different. Mewtwo in the dub wants to destroy the world and have his clones inherit the world after that, which makes no sense since there would be nothing left to inherit. Frickin' moron. But a Mewtwo in the original version doesn't have so much of a goal. Again, he's just trying to find a reason for his existence, and later on, he wants to know if the clones are stronger than the originals, including himself. That's really about it. That said, however, the constant questioning of his existence does get annoying after a while. It's like, okay, movie, we get it. He's questioning his existence. Now, are you gonna do something about it, or are you gonna pad out the runtime by repeating the shit? Nitpicky? Maybe. But after a while, it started to get on my nerves because it was getting repetitive. Thankfully, though, he does find his purpose by the end of the movie after Ash is unstoned, or whatever they did to him, so that's good. On top of that, the stupid Pokemon are meant to fight, not like this message is thankfully not present in this version of the film. Instead, the message is more about how clones in the originals are basically the same and shouldn't be fighting each other because, well, they are basically the goddamn same, which I actually preferred. But that's about it for the story, and for the most part, it's fine. I like Mewtwo's plan a lot more in this version than the dubs. I think the dialogue was written a lot better than the dub. Hell, they actually got the goddamn names right for Pidgeot at least, and they didn't need to reference the Minnesota Vikings for no reason like in the dub. Seriously, that shit was so goddamn stupid. Like, could you imagine them doing that for the later movies?
Whoa, are you from Pittsburgh? Looks like it's time for the kickoff.
But I digress. As for the characters, I'm still not the biggest fan of them in this film. I still don't like Ash's group for the most part. I still don't like Nisha, Corey, or Fergus in this film. Team Rocket is still a little funny in this one. And like the dub, I still don't like Mew. I still think it's a flat and boring character. The only real change this time around is that I like Mewtwo a lot more. I liked his motivation a lot more, I liked his personality a lot more, and he was written a lot better in this film than he was in the dub. But if you want me to nitpick about this character, I will say that I still find the final fight between Mew and Mewtwo to be pretty boring and uninteresting to watch. Maybe that was the intent, to tie into the message about the clones and the real Pokemon being the same, making this fight pointless, but I still didn't like it. As for the animation in this one was fine. Not terrible like some of the later movies, but not amazing either. It's in the middle for me. Finally, we have music, and I find to be a major improvement over the dub. And here's why. Not only because the songs are a lot more memorable to listen to for the most part, but also because, unlike the dub, a lot of the songs actually fit the scenes they are used in. For instance, instead of playing Brother My Brother during the final fight of the film, the Japanese version uses a song that sounds like, get this, an actual battle song. Yes, I know I've heard an unfitting music in a scene before, but given that the intent of this scene was pretty much meant to be a fight scene, I expect them to use a song that would fit in a fight scene, and not an anti-war song in a film that has solved most of its problems with fighting. But I digress. The voice work is also pretty good in this version, so not much to complain about there, so I think now's the time I wrap this up. Overall, the Japanese version of Mewtwo Strikes Back is way better than the dubbed version. It has mostly better writing, better audio work, better antagonists, and a better message than the one we got in the dub. It's not perfect, still has the flaws that the dub has, like its characters and action scenes, but it's still better than the dubbed version, and I do recommend giving it a watch if you can find a copy. Hell, if the 20th movie does end up sucking, this might help wash out the bad taste. Until then, I'm the Mounty, and thanks for watching.